Major Slack Attack.
Booyah! Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the Major Slack Attack here for stuff for titillating tactical gaming, and welcome to my Witcher 3 real walkthrough. Yes, it is now in effect, starting with episode 0. Yes, this is episode 0, a special introductory episode, and basically, I wish I'd seen a video like this when I first started playing Witcher 3 because it would have saved me a lot of Googling. Like I mentioned in my Witcher 3 review video, the game mechanics are poorly documented and there still is no real how to play Witcher 3 video. So I decided, for your convenience, to make one. So without any further ado, Major Slack's real walkthrough of Witcher 3 starts now. Alright, all you aspiring Witcher 3 adventurers, if you're feeling a little daunted by the complexity of this game, you find yourself frequently asking, what in holy flea-bitten mother scratcher is going on here? Saddle up, lock and load, and assemble on me. This is going to be your Witcher 3 boot camp. Alright, let's start with the basics. Witcher 3 is an RPG played in third-person view. You control this guy, Geralt, who's a master spell sword. That is, he uses swords and magic to defeat his enemies. Alright? Next, swords. You have a steel sword and a silver sword. Use the steel sword on human enemies and normal animals like wolves, bears, or even deer if you so desire, and stuff like that. And use the silver sword on monsters. Geralt will automatically draw the right sword according to the situation. That is, if he sees a monster, he'll draw his silver sword. Or you could choose to draw any sword at any time you like, even if it's the wrong sword. So yeah, you do have the freedom to completely screw up if you so desire. As you progress through the game, you'll find tons of different steel and silver swords, as well as all kinds of other armor, and naturally you'll be swapping out and upgrading like crazy to stay abreast of the difficulty curve. Next, difficulty. There are currently 4 different difficulty levels, named Just a Story, Story and Sword, Blood and Broken Bones, and Death March. In plain English, this would be easy, normal, hard, and very hard. One key difference to note is on easy and normal, that is story and, or rather just a story and sword, you can completely regenerate your health bar by meditating. On hard and very hard, you cannot do that. Alright? However, even if you are playing with the ability to regenerate your health by meditating, I don't recommend it for reasons I'll get into later on in the walkthrough. Next, health. Let's take a look at the Witcher 3 HUD. And for all you landlubbers, HUD is simply holier than thou elite gamer speak for heads up display. Alright, in plain English, it's all the stuff that appears on the screen while you're actually playing the game. The most important stuff is in the top left corner. The big red bar is your health bar. Alright, Witcher 3 officially calls it Vitality, but we'll just ignore this new trend amongst game developers to invent fancy schmancy proprietary names for standard features in video games and just call it Health. Alright, especially since it works the same as every other video game health bar since the beginning of time. Enemy smacks you upside your head, health bar goes down. Plain and simple. If the health bar goes down to 0, you die. Period. Okay? The health bar, however, does regenerate. Okay? In Witcher 3, the health bar does regenerate, but very, very slowly. Alright? So this is regardless of whether you're in or out of combat, it regenerates very, very slowly. It's not something you can depend on, but it will do so. Want to fill up your health bar quicker? You can do one of several things. Eat some food, drink a potion, or if you want to be really slick, do both at the same time to save on resources. Or as mentioned earlier, you can simply meditate. More on meditation later on in the walkthrough. Next, stamina. This little curvy yellow bar is your stamina. Run around too much, your stamina goes down, you get tired, the game gives you a timeout, and you have to slow down until your stamina regenerates. Your stamina bar regenerates very quickly when you're not in combat, and a lot slower when you're in combat. If you want to spend the whole game just using your swords to put the beat down on the bad guys, you won't have to worry about your stamina bar too much. If on the other hand you want to use your signs or magic spells, in plain English, your stamina bar is going to be very important. The stamina bar is like the fuel tank for all the magic spells in the game. The stamina bar must be full before you can cast a magic spell, and every time you cast a spell, for the most part, your stamina bar will completely empty out. Alright? At which point you will have to wait until it fills up again before you can cast another magic spell. Okay? That's the way it works. It's the fuel tank for your magic spells, and it's got to be full before you can do anything. Alright? You can see how fast your stamina bar is regenerating at any time by going to the character screen. Okay, let's go to the character screen and then pressing whatever button is listed here to get your player stats. Okay, so for me it's the C button. Go to player stats, scroll down all the way to the bottom, and you see in the bottom right corner your stamina regeneration rate in and out of combat. Okay, out of combat it's always 100 per second. Okay, your stamina, default stamina is 100, so it takes 1 second to completely regenerate your stamina out of combat. I'll just show you that in effect here. Go back to the game. We're out of combat, no enemies around. Let's cast the Igni sign and you'll see, well, let's just get the stamina bar showing first of all. We'll draw a sword, swing the sword. Now you see the stamina bar showing. It was showing. Anyways, when we cast the spell, you'll see it. There we go, the stamina bar emptied out and it filled up almost instantly. Took just 1 second. Okay, so pretty much refills 1 second out of combat. In combat it takes a lot longer. Let's do the math here. Scroll down. We have 100 stamina and it's listed as taking 10 points per second to regenerate, so obviously it's going to take 10 seconds for our stamina to fully regenerate in combat. Now that's a pretty long time when you're in combat, and you want to improve that. One way of improving that is to simply take a potion. They give you this potion by default right at the very beginning, Tawny Owl. It adds 5 to your stamina regeneration rate. Doesn't tell you that, but that's exactly what it does. Alright, let's just take one right now and I'll show you that in effect. Okay, so we can go back out, gobble down a potion, go to the character screen, look at the player stats, scroll down here, and boom, you can see our stamina regeneration has bumped up to 15 points per second. So you do the math, that's approximately 7 seconds, just a little under 7 seconds for our stamina bar to regenerate in combat. So we saved 3 seconds. Alright, so that's one way of improving your stamina regeneration rate. There's a much better way of improving your stamina regeneration rate, and I'm going to get into that at the very beginning of the walkthrough, but that's just an example of how you can keep track of your stamina regeneration rate and make improvements. Toxicity. This is a tough one because there's some information, some misinformation floating around about this. Not that it's anybody's fault. It's not that the information is wrong. It's just outdated, and no one has really started a new discussion on the new stats of Witcher 3 because it was patched. Like the toxicity rating, if you will, in the game was patched. Okay, and there's been no new discussion on this. So I'm gonna run some tests right here, right now, to show you what is in effect with patch 1.07. That's the patch I'm running on. I haven't upgraded to 1.08 because I heard it broke some of these games, so I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole until everything's like safe. I think 1.09 is out too, but that's a little too new for me. I'm not really a patch maniac anyways. 1.07 is working pretty good for me. My policy is only a little bit broke, don't fix it. Right, okay. So first of all, toxicity. What is toxicity? Every time you take a potion, okay, let's go to the inventory screen. Every time you take a potion, you poison yourself a little bit. Let's take a look at this Thunderbolt potion, which increases your damage by 30%. This Thunderbolt potion has a 25 out of 100 toxicity. This Petrie's Filter potion also has a 25 out of 100 toxicity. 100 toxicity is your maximum toxicity by default. That determines how many potions you can take no matter what. Alright, so let's say we took Thunderbolt 3 times, which would be stupid, just for demonstrational purposes, and we took this once. That would max out our toxicity. At that point, we would not be able to take any more potions. Let's demonstrate that right now. So we're going to take Thunderbolt 3 times, we're going to try to take Petrie's Filter twice, and the game's going to tell us we can't take any more potions because we've reached our maximum toxicity. Alright, boom, 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 boom. See, See that? You cannot do that now. Current toxicity 99 out of 100. We don't have any more room to take another potion. Let's look at the stats, the player stats. We can see our toxicity level right there. It is now currently 96 out of 100. So we can't take any more potions of these potions that are rated at 25 until our toxicity level drops below 75. You get it? You add up the toxicity level of each potion and it cannot exceed your maximum toxicity level, which can be changed. Your maximum toxicity level can go over 100 with some skills. Now there's something else. We have now overdosed ourselves. You can see this in effect by that skull icon that's right beside the toxicity meter, that green toxicity meter that's below our health bar. You can see our health bar is kind of like greenish looking, okay? So we're a little green around the gills, and that skull is lit up. You see it's lit up, it's highlighted, right? That means that we are currently overdosed, and you can see we are slowly losing health, all right? We are losing health because we overdosed. So we have gone past the potion overdose threshold. And what is that? We're going to find out what that is as soon as that skull stops being lit up. Okay, it's just right that point. Stop being lit up. Okay, you saw that? And we see that the toxicity level is 75. So that is the default potion overdose level. The minute you go over that, you are overdosed. So even though you can take more potions, you are poisoned, and you will slowly begin losing health until you drop back below that potion overdose level. Now, formerly, I believe the potion overdose level was 95%, not 75%. And people were running tests on that, but that's no longer true. The new potion overdose level is 75%. You can see that in effect right now. All right, let's go back to the game, and you can see we are no longer losing health. If you go back here, see our health is 38.95. Check it a couple seconds later, 38.98. See, we're gradually increasing our health. Our health is back to normal, and we're gradually regenerating health according to the very slow health regeneration rate. All right, that's down here somewhere. I forget where it is. Anyways, your health regenerates like I think 1 point per second by default. So that's that. That's what toxicity is all about. You have your maximum toxicity and you have your potion overdose level. Now, there's two things you can do. I'm going to discuss this a little later about how to increase your maximum toxicity. You can also change your potion overdose level. Let's go to the character screen with some skills. One of these skills, I think the only skill that will change that is right here, heightened tolerance. Here we go, increases potion overdose threshold by 5%. So if we put one skill point into there, our current potion overdose threshold is 75. We have now increased it to 80. Right? Don't forget to slot the skill when you're doing these tests. Okay, so now our new potion overdose level is 80. Let's test it out. Meditate to refill our potions. Glug glug, take some strong alcohol. Feeling better, Geralt? Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Alright. Ready for some more tests? Sure, lay it on me. Let's do some drugs. Okay, let's do some drugs. Let's jam down. Let's do the same thing. We're going to gobble down 3 Thunderbolts and try to gobble down 2 Petrie's filter. The game will only let us do 1 because once again our maximum toxicity has not changed. So we won't be able to take any more than 100. And then we'll see at what point we are no longer overdosed by watching that little skull icon beside the toxicity meter. When it's no longer lit up, that means we're no longer overdosed. Okay, that's the plan. Let's do it. Glug 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 glug. We can't take any more. Our toxicity level, it took me that long to get to the screen, so it dropped a little bit, but we are currently way overdosed. Okay, even with our new potion overdose level, we're way overdosed. We are way over 80%. That's our new potion overdose level. Now let's watch the screen carefully to see at what point that skull icon beside the toxicity meter is no longer lit up. It's now lit up, and we are currently losing health. You can see our health bar is all greenish. And if you check out Geralt's face, it's like, you know, if you get a close up of his face is all, you know, screwed up and everything, you know, because he's overdosed. Okay, watching that skull icon very carefully. Still lit up. Still lit up. Still lit up. Boom. At that point, it was no longer lit up, and you can see our new potion overdose level is indeed 80. So that's all there is to it. Maximum toxicity and potion overdose level. So naturally, if you put all points, okay, into heightened tolerance, that'll increase your potion overdose level by 25%. So if your maximum toxicity was 100, you could indeed take that fourth potion without being overdosed. Let's just test it out. Max out heightened tolerance. Okay, so it's maxed out. We've increased our potion overdose level by 25%. 25% added on to the default 75% is 100%. So at this point, we should be able to take 3 Thunderbolts and 1 Petrie's filter and not be overdosed, and we won't lose any health. Let's test it out. Meditating, refilling our potions, drink some strong alcohol because all these tests are really hard on the body there. Okay, here we go. Gonna gobble down 3 Thunderbolts and 1 Petrie's filter. Go to the character screen. We see our toxicity level. It did go up to 100, but it took me, you know, that long to get to the character or the player stats screen. We are, you know, by old standards, completely overdosed. Okay, but we now have heightened tolerance maxed out. So our new potion overdose level is 100. So at this point, we shouldn't be losing any health at all right now. In fact, when we go back, that little skull beside the toxicity screen will not even be lit up. Let's go check it out. And indeed, it is not. You see that little skull beside the toxicity meter is not lit up. And if you watch our health bar carefully, we are not losing any health at all. Alright? So that's the whole deal on toxicity. Now, later on when I start explaining about signs and whatnot and decoctions, I'll show you how to increase your maximum toxicity. All right, but that's the whole deal on toxicity. Adrenaline. The adrenaline meter appears right below the stamina meter, and it's like 3 little dashes. They start out as 3 gray dashes or 3 gray bars, and they gradually fill up when you're in combat. Basically, it's the game's way of awarding you points for doing well in combat. The more damage you do on enemies, the more your adrenaline bar fills up. All right, now it doesn't fill up gradually, it fills up incrementally. It fills up by steps. Okay, step 1, you see I just got step 1. The first bar turned red. That means I now have 1 adrenaline point. What does this mean, Slack? This means I'm now doing 10% more damage with my swords. So keep going and keep attacking the enemies and try to avoid taking damage, because when you take damage, it slows down your adrenaline point gain. So keep doing damage, and eventually you see in this bear fight that I'm going to get up to 0.2, adrenaline 0.2. So I've just been awarded adrenaline 0.2. And at this point, I'm now doing 20% more sword damage. So keep working on this bear. I know I've been teasing you with this bear fight all the way through this tutorial. Now you get to see it. Hit him with some Axie, or the Jedi mind control trick, as I like to call it. Zap him right there. You see my stamina bar bottoms out, as I discussed earlier. Wail away at him. I briefly got up to adrenaline 0.3, if you saw that on screen, but the game didn't award it to me because I took damage, so it knocked me down to adrenaline point 2. Alright, so now I have to keep working on them some more to get up to, you know, solidly in adrenaline point 3. So there we go. I'm up to adrenaline point 3. I've got 3 adrenaline points. Let's check it out. We have indeed been awarded 3 adrenaline points. We are now doing 30% more attack damage. Let's check out the fast attack damage for the steel sword, which is what I'm using now. There it is right there. Steel sword, fast attack damage, 31. Alright, and I'm going to show you later that this sword is rated at 24. So subtract 24 from 31, you get 7. And 7 is indeed exactly 30% of 24. So I am indeed doing 30% more sword damage. It's as simple as that. Now there are skills. There are higher level skills that also use adrenaline points. Here's the sword I'm using. It's rated at 22 to 26, so the average is 24. And yeah, like I was saying, there's higher level skills that also use adrenaline points. Alright, so you have to build up your adrenaline points, have ability points in those skills, have those skills activated, and then you can use those skills to you know, you can use those skills in combat if you have enough adrenaline points. So it's not just for bonus damage, it's also for, you know, some higher level skills. So that's what adrenaline is all about. I'm just going to finish off this bear here, and then I'll show you in the player stats screen that this sword is indeed rated at 24 fast attack damage. So the bear is dead, and as you are no longer engaged in combat, your adrenaline points will fade away. As you can just see, I just sped up the video there. All my adrenaline points have faded away. I am now at 0 adrenaline points, and we'll check out the default damage for this steel sword, and you can see that it is indeed 24 fast attack damage. So 10% better damage or more damage per adrenaline point. That's the way that works. Signs. Signs are just Witcher 3's fancy smancy name for magic spells. That's it, that's all. You have 5 signs: Axii, Igni, Quen, Yrden, and Ard. What do I have to do to get these magic spells, Slack? Nothing. You get them all right away, right at the beginning of the game. But you just get the default versions, okay? You have to spend skill points to upgrade them to better versions. An optional in-game training combat tutorial will show you how to use all these magic spells, but really you're going to have to, you know, just get out there in the open field into some real combat situations before you be able to see exactly how useful they are and how well they fit into your particular play style. Let's do a quick rundown on all the 5 signs. Axii. Axii is basically your standard Jedi mind control trick. Works fine right out of the box with no upgrades. Put the enemy under your control for a few seconds, and then you can have your way with him and go all hillbilly on his ass. Or just kill him. Whatever suits your fancy. A very useful early game spell, so get used to it if you want to master this game. Next, Igni. Igni is basically a flamethrower. Another very useful early game spell. The default version is a one-shot flame spray kind of deal, not to be underestimated though, and it will set the enemy on fire according to your burning % chance. When this thing gets upgraded, however, it's downright deadly. And a lot of fun. Next, Quen. Quen is basically your shield spell, and you cast it to reduce damage when you get hit. Fully upgraded, however, you can create a bubble shield that restores some of your health every time the enemy whacks you. And I can't begin to tell you how useful that is. If you don't want to rely on food and or meditation to refill your health bar, then this should be the very first thing you upgrade, alright? Ard. Ard is your telekinetic spell. Cast it to create a blast, which shoves enemies back and may even knock them down. When enemies are knocked down, you can run up, stand over them, and press the attack button to do an instant execution. Oh joy, yeah. And I don't need to tell you how useful that can be either. Upgrade the Ard sign to get a 360 blast radius. and the bigger reach, which basically translates into everybody around you gets knocked on their ass and allows you to run around and do multiple executions. It's just, like I said, I can't tell you how useful that is. And finally, Irden is basically the magic trap spell. Cast it to create a magic circle that slows enemies down when they enter it. The default version of the spell is not that exciting, although it does have some extremely useful applications against certain enemies, okay? Most specifically, wraiths. Other than that, the upgraded version will be where it's at. It's a lot more fun, and it's basically like putting down an electric shock turret, or Tesla coil for all you Command and Conquer aficionados. This will zap up to 4 enemies before running out and will defend you indefinitely, it seems, against enemy projectiles. Right? So if you got some guy shooting arrows at you, it will shoot them all down. And that seems to work indefinitely. There isn't a limit on how many charges it has in order to defend you against that, according to my testing. Alright, so that's the basics of what's going on out there in the game world. Let's take a look at the machine behind the scene and go over some of the game menus. Let's start with inventory. Okay, I'm going to use a save from a character that was at level 20 in a practice run for demonstrational purposes to make things a lot easier. This is your inventory. This is what happens, or this is what shows on the screen when you press the inventory button. On the right side is all the stuff you have currently equipped. On the left side is all the spare stuff you have. Equipped, spare stuff. Here's your 2 swords. Here's your steel sword, it always goes in this slot. Here's your silver sword, always goes in this slot. These 4 items here are your armor. Chest armor, gloves, trousers, and boots. These add up all the armor ratings on each of these. Okay, you can see the armor rating on this is 107. The armor rating on this is 31, 31, and 27. Okay, add all those up and you get your total armor rating, which is listed down here in the bottom right corner always. That's my total armor rating, 191. The higher the armor rating, the less the bad guys hurt you, plain and simple. Next, here's your crossbow bolts, and your crossbow goes here. At the beginning of the game, you won't have anything in the slot because you won't have a crossbow, but you'll get one very soon in the game, alright? So don't be surprised if you don't have a crossbow there. This is kind of like your utility belt. This is your consumable slot. This is where you put items that you want to quickly consume in combat, such as potions or food. These are your bomb slots. Put your bombs here. There's different bombs you can use, so you can just swap them out for different bombs, you know. Do I have another bomb here? I don't think so. I just have the 2. Samum and Grape Shot. And then these other slots are for either quest items, like this thing for here, for example, the Potestaquisitor, or something very simple like a torch, where you could just, like, you know, take out a torch and light up the area if it's too dark. Down here is all the items for your horse. You put items on your horse and you get special bonuses. For example, trophies, which gives you like a variety of bonuses. You earn trophies by killing certain badass monsters. Saddlebags, that determines how much you can carry, okay? You have a certain limited carry weight, which is this thing up here. If you're wondering what this little bell-shaped thing is here, that's your carry weights. Right now, my maximum carry weight is 130, and I have 77 filled up. Okay, so 77 out of 130 carry weight is filled up. That's with all the items in my various spare sections of my inventory, right? That all adds up to 77. And this can be increased by getting better saddlebags. You put the saddlebags there and you change your carry weight. That's your money. That's your current level. Right here is how much you need to level up to the next level. So I now have 601 XP and I need 2000 XP to level up to level 21. Down here is sword damage, armor, I already went over that. Sign intensity, I'll get into later. And vitality, that's your current maximum health, okay? It increases as you go through the game. Alright, over to the left side. This is your spare stuff. It's separated into 6 categories. It's not entirely intuitive, but generally it'll help out. First category is equipment. This is basically all your weapons, armor, runestones, glyphs, stuff like that. Stuff you need to go into combat. Next is usable items. This is all your oils, bombs, potions, and food and, well, booze. Which will just get you drunk. I should be selling all these, actually. I just sell all this because they just get you drunk. It makes the screen all fuzzy and whatnot. It's not entirely, I shouldn't say not entirely, I don't find it useful at all. Okay, so basically this is just all your potions, bombs, and food and whatnot. Okay, usable items. Next, quest items. This is where all the items you need to complete certain quests are stored. So if you're told to refer to a certain item to continue a quest, that's probably where it will be found. Next, this is basically your junk drawer. Anything that doesn't really fit into a category, and it's just basically junk, like a rope ladder or a bracelet or whatever goes into here. And all these things can be dismantled, okay, to provide you with materials to craft stuff. So junk should not necessarily automatically be sold. In fact, I rarely sell junk. I only sell junk if I want to lighten my load. Otherwise, I pretty much keep it all in case something here can be dismantled to provide me materials to craft important items. And I'll get into crafting in a minute or two. Next, alchemy and crafting. Okay, all your alchemy and crafting materials are kept here. You can basically make anything in the game once you have the recipe. And once again, I'll get into crafting and alchemy in a minute or two. Okay, these are where all the items that you need for alchemy and crafting are kept. And finally, books. These are all your manuscripts and books and whatnot. So that's that. Next, alchemy and crafting. You can make practically anything and everything in the game if you have A, all the necessary materials, and B, the recipe. As you make your way through the game, you will regularly acquire what are known as diagrams, manuscripts, and torn out pages. These are all just simply recipes of different kinds. Diagrams are always recipes to craft armor, weapons, and related materials. Manuscripts are always recipes to craft potions, oils, bombs, and related materials. Torn out pages are always recipes to craft more powerful potions called decoctions and related materials such as mutagens. That's it, that's all. All those fancy schmancy proprietary names like diagrams, manuscripts, and torn out pages are simply recipes. Alright, yeah, they couldn't have made that more confusing. All crafting, that is, all constructing of armor, weapons, and related materials must be done with a smithy of some kind, okay? Either a blacksmith or an armor smith. Blacksmiths will only make weapons, armor smiths will only make armor, whereas both kinds of smiths can do a number of common and related tasks like construct or deconstruct or dismantle materials required to make armor and weapons, and they can also disenchant any item. Alchemy, on the other hand, can be done anywhere as long as you have the required materials. You don't need any kind of special craftsman to create potions, for example. I'm pretty sure I have a potion I can make here. Here's the venom. I'll do something that would make more sense. Drowner, pheromones, white honey. Okay, here's an oil, okay? Enhanced hangman's venom. This will give you a bonus damage against all human and animal enemies. Okay, so I've got all the materials here for this particular oil, which you smear on a sword and it gives you bonus damage. Right, so all the materials are there. That's the potion. You can make it right now. You don't have to wait until you get to a special craftsman in order to make it. I got the recipe, I got the ingredients, I just zap it up and away you go. Potions. I see a lot of confusion on the game forums about exactly how Witcher 3 potions work. As covered earlier, to make a potion you first need the manuscript or the recipe. How do you get the manuscript, Slack? You get potion manuscripts by either buying them from merchants or more preferably finding them by looting. Okay, that's where you're going to get most of your potion manuscripts. You can buy some. You may actually want to actively buy as many as you can. I'll get into that later about why you would want to do that. Once you have a potion manuscript and the necessary ingredients, you can make that potion. That's it. So I've reverted here to a level 2 save, okay? Just to show you one of the earlier potions you can get. This is the swallow potion, okay? This potion makes your health, or your vitality as it's more properly called, regenerate faster. Now we have the potion recipe and we have all the ingredients to make the potion. We have 1 dwarven spirit, we do indeed have 5 celandine flowers, and we have 1 drowner brain. We don't need any special craftsmen to make the potion. We are just right out here in the field, okay? Not by any special craftsman or anything, okay? Just make it right out here in the field. Go to your alchemy screen. Any potion that's or any recipe rather that's highlighted in green, that means you can make that recipe. You have all the ingredients to make that recipe. Okay, so let's just go ahead and make it. Boom. We have now made the swallow potion. Note that it now says you already have this item. Let's check our inventory. Go to the usable items screen, okay? There is the swallow potion. You could take it directly right here by just clicking on it and pressing the interact button, or you could slot it so that you can you know, gobble it down quickly in the middle of combat. As you can see, we have 3 out of 3 doses of this potion. That's the same as the default potion that you're given, Tawny Owl. You have 3 out of 3 of that potion as well. So, let's gobble them all down. Glug, glug, glug. Okay? We just took all of our swallow potions, okay? All of them. You don't need to do that. This is just for demonstrational purposes, okay? We just gobbled down all the doses. It is now at 0. What are you doing now, Slack? You making another potion? No, you don't. You don't. You don't ever make the swallow potion again. Once you make it, that's it. You make it once and that's it. What you have to do now is refill it, okay? And the way you refill potions is simply by meditating. So let's meditate. Meditate for any length of time. 1 hour will do. Meditate. Glug, glug, glug. And look, we just took some strong alcohol. You see that indicated in the bottom left corner of the screen to refill our potions. That's the way it works. All your potions get automatically refilled every time you meditate, and it uses 1 strong alcohol. Alright? Let's try this again. This time we're going to use 2 of each. Let's use 2 swallow and 2 tawny owl. Oh, I accidentally pressed it 3 times. So we're overdosed. I'll get into that next about toxicity, but we've used up a lot of our potions. See, tawny owl is down to 0. Swallow is down to one dose left. Okay? Neither of these potions, we don't have to make them again. We just simply have to refill them. Refill them by simply meditating. Meditate for 1 hour or any length of time, you know. Once again, we've used 1 strong alcohol, and 1 bottle of strong alcohol will replenish all your potions. See, they're replenished now. That's the way it works. The same thing works for bombs, and the same thing works for decoctions, which are more powerful potions, okay? They all work on the same principle. Once you use them up, you refill them by simply meditating. So what's strong alcohol, Slack? Strong alcohol is, I got a list here of what is guaranteed to be strong alcohol. If you can add to this list, post a comment. But what I know to be guaranteed to be strong alcohol is, let me just check my laptop here. Probably say it by heart. Tamarian rye. Hang on, let me just scroll down here. There we go. These 4 items are guaranteed to be strong alcohol. Alkalest, Tamarian rye, Redanian herbal, and Nilfgaardian lemon. Let's see if we have any of those items in the inventory right now. Usually if you sort items by price, they'll float to the top because most of them are valuable. There's Alkalest. There's Nilfgaardian lemon. There's Dwarven Spirit. That's another one. I forgot that one. So that's 5. Dwarven Spirit, Alkalest, Tamarian Rye, Redanian Herbal, and Nilfgaardian Lemon. If you know of another one, post a comment. Yeah, I forgot about that. What's this one? Yeah, so those are the ones that I have in my possession right now. So I have 5 bottles of strong alcohol in my possession right now, meaning that I could refill my potions 5 times every time I meditate. Now, if you loot a lot, if you loot everywhere you go, you're going to eventually stockpile a huge collection of strong alcohol. So there's no reason to worry about going short unless you're meditating like crazy, okay? But you should be okay. But one thing, like as I was saying before, I advise against meditating simply to refill your health, because typically your health is going to run down faster than your potions, and you're going to waste, the leftover doses that you have. One thing you can do, I don't know if it's a cheat or not, but one thing I noticed, one thing you could do is just simply drop, if you want to like meditate to regenerate your health, just simply drop all your strong alcohol, okay? So we'll drop this, just drop it on the ground, drop this on the ground, and go back, and you see it's right there as loot at our feet. Now we can meditate. Whoops, wrong screen. Meditate. This will regenerate our health. Our health wasn't down, but just for demonstrational purposes, go back, and it didn't use any strong alcohol. Actually, I didn't use any potions. Let's use some potions and do that again. Okay? So I've used one of each potion. Once again, meditate. There you go. No strong alcohol in inventory. Alchemy items could not be replenished. Alright? So go back. Your potions weren't refilled, but you saved your strong alcohol. So that's one way of saving your strong alcohol. If you only have, say, one dose of each potion used, and you don't want to use strong alcohol to regenerate that when your only goal is to simply regenerate your health. So that's kind of a, let's call it a workaround. I don't really call it a cheat, because it's not really a glitch or a bug. It's just something you can do, right? Then you could just pick all this stuff up again and put it back in your inventory. So that's something you can do. Anyways, that's the way potions work. You only make them once, and you refill them by meditating. Abilities. Just like most RPGs, you earn experience points, or XP, for performing certain actions in the game. In Witcher 3, this includes killing enemies or completing quests or other tasks. This XP is accumulated, and once you pass certain predetermined thresholds, you level up or earn an ability point. That's Witcher 3's proprietary name for skill points. In other RPG, they're known as skill points, but Witcher 3 wants to call them ability points, so we'll call them ability points to avoid confusion. Okay, here is your ability points screen. It's actually called your character screen, but basically it's the screen that documents your progress in leveling up all your skills or abilities. So let's start with this side here. Here's all the abilities you have at your disposal. They're categorized into different ability branches: combat, signs, alchemy, and general. And here's a fifth kind of section here, which is devoted entirely to mutagens. I'll get into that later. Those aren't really skills, those are something else. Alright, so it's basically the four: combat, signs, which is magic spells once again, alchemy, and general. The first three ability branches have tiered abilities. In other words, actually what I should do is clear all these abilities so it will be for demonstrational purposes. Yeah, you may be wondering, can you respec? That is, can you take back all your spent ability points and respend them? Yes, you can, but you'll have to acquire what's known as a potion of clearance. This will cost you 1,000 crowns. Crowns is the game's currency. Okay, crowns. It costs you 1,000 crowns, and you could buy this so-called potion of clearance. Where do I get this potion of clearance, Slack? You can get this potion of clearance at, I think we're here right now at this particular save, this level 20 save. I'm using this level 20 save for demonstrational purposes because it will give us a lot of ability points to work with. Yeah, we're right here where you can buy a potion of clearance. This is at, I'm going to go with Kira. Kira Metz's place. She's like a herbalist slash alchemist slash witch that you'll meet in the Velen No Man's map. Okay, Velen No Man's map. Go to the world map here. You start out in White Orchard, then you make a brief stop in Royal Palace in Vizima. I hope I'm not doing too many spoilers here. It's just basically basic progression through the game. I'm not telling much of the story. And then you end up in Velen No Man's Land, okay? And in Velen No Man's Land, fast travel to the Mid-Copse signpost, and she's just northeast of there at this particular spot here. It's right marked on the map here. Alchemy supplies. Go there. Hook up with Kira. You may have to do a couple quests to do this. I forget exactly how this goes. And then you could buy stuff from her. Alright, just choose to like to buy something from you. Skip that. Skip that. Get right to the goodies. And go into her supply of goodies, and there it is. Potion of clearance for sale. 1,000 crowns. Buy that, use it, and you'll be able to clear all your ability points, get them back to spend again. Now, unlike other potions, this does not refill simply by meditating. It's a one-shot use, okay? A one-shot. I think there's also, if I recall correctly, another herbalist in Novigrad. See if I can spot this. Anyways, you know where that one is. There's another one in Novigrad. Novigrad is the big city north here. Here in the center of Novigrad, I believe there's a herbalist here that also sells potions of clearance. If somebody wants to verify that. And his potions of clearance respawn. Actually, I think Kira Mitz's potions of clearance respawn too. Anyways, that's where you get them if you're wondering. So let's just apply that. Go to the inventory screen. Usable items. Potion of clearance. Glug glug. And we get all our ability points back. Alright, so I have 35 ability points and I'm at level 20. And some of you may be wondering, okay, Slack, the math doesn't work out on that. How did you get 35 ability points at level 20? I'll get into that later. Yeah, this is typical. If you play well, you usually have way more ability points than your level. You usually have more ability points than you can spend. Alright, so here we go. Using the Signs ability tree or branch as an example. We've got all our ability points back. So as you can see, the second tier of abilities is locked. We need to put at least 6 points to the first tier in order to unlock the second tier. Going down to the third tier, we need to put at least 18 points into either the first or second tier in order to unlock the third tier. Down to the fourth tier, we need to put at least 28 points into the first 3 tiers anywhere. Okay, this means anywhere. You don't have to follow a particular, sign or anything. You can put them anywhere. As long as you put 6 points in the first tier, you unlock the second tier. And each one of these, in this particular Signs ability branch, each one of these applies to one sign. Okay, so there's 5 signs, 5 magic spells. This is all about the air sign. This one here is all about the fire sign. This one is all about the Erden sign, etc., etc. You don't have to follow this down in order to unlock that skill. So let's do this right now. For example, let's say we want to unlock the second tier. Let's put 3 points into Exploding Shield. 2, 3. And let's put 3 points into Delusion. Alright, that's the Axie sign. Bingo. So now the second tier is unlocked. Now all the alternate sign modes, okay, if you're wondering how to get to the alternate signs for all the magic spells, they're all at the second tier. You unlock them by putting 6 points into the first tier. So now that we've got this unlocked, we don't have to put any points into Melt Armor in order to put points into Fire Stream, which is the alternate sign for the fire spell. We can just put them in right now. So that's all you. That's the way it works. You don't have to build up each particular one. It's just like a batch kind of system, where as long as you got enough points anywhere previously applied, you unlock that whole new tier. Alright, so that's the way that works. Now, something else that a lot of people are confused about. They're going, how come my signs aren't working? Or how come my skills aren't working? Or my abilities not working? It's because you didn't slot them. Right? All these are ability slots. It's not enough to just simply put points into an ability. You actually have to take that ability and put it into a slot. Now that ability is active. Okay, it's activated. Alright, these slots get unlocked as you go through the game. Alright, at the beginning, this slot is unlocked by default. This slot is unlocked by level 2. I'm going by memory here. This slot is unlocked by level 4. I'm going to go by memory. Level 4. I believe this slot is unlock to level 6, level 8, and level 10 if I recall correctly. Anyways, I'm going to do another recording where I go back to an early game character and I'll verify that. Alright, so all these slots are unlocked as you progress through the game. There's no way around that. So make sure that your skills are slotted. And you can take these out at any time. It's not a permanent thing. You can swap them out all the time, you know. So let's say, for example, a good example is the delusion skill, which is not very useful in combat, but it's very useful for dialogue. So if you want to have points in the delusion skill, and then you know you're coming up to a particular point in the game where there's a lot of dialogue, and there's a certain section of dialogue that is unlocked if you have enough points in the delusion skill, you can slot your points in the delusion skill just before you go into that part of the dialogue, use it, and then swap it out for another skill afterwards. Okay, so it's not like you have to keep it all the time. So that's abilities. What about these so-called mutagens? This will be a lot easier to explain if I have a lot of these ability slots filled. So let's go ahead and fill them up right now with the build that I'm most likely to use in the real walkthrough coming up, and that is the signs/alchemy build. So we'll start this build off by putting 3 points into exploding shield. Now we need 3 more points on this tier in order to unlock the next tier, and I believe the most useful will be delusion. This will give us some options in certain dialogue challenges. So we'll put 3 into that, and now the second tier is unlocked. Next thing we should get is the active shield. This is basically the bubble shield. Alright, active shield. Put 3 points into that, max it out so it won't use any stamina as you're keeping the shield up. It will only use stamina when the shield gets damaged, and I'll explain more about that in the real walkthrough coming up. So that's that. Next, fire stream is extremely useful. Once again, you don't have to put any points into the previous fire sign branch. You can just go right to fire stream. Just put 3 points in there. Same thing with arid sweep. Once again, we don't have to put any points into this previous arid skill. We can just go right to the alternate sign, put 3 points in there. And Griffin School technologies or techniques, this will give you bonuses if you're wearing all medium armor. So put 1 point in there. That will give you bonus to sign intensity. I'll explain about that in a minute. And your stamina regen rate, which is very important. Alright, I'll explain about all this in much more detail in the actual walkthrough. Finally, fast attack, which is in the combat skill 3. This is just to give us a 20% damage boost to our swords. It's a very useful skill to have. Put 5 points in there. And starting to work on, this isn't the complete build, this is only up to level 20. You have to wait to the actual walkthrough to see the complete build. In the, not the general, but the alchemy ability branch, put 3 points into tolerance, acquired tolerance. This is kind of a weird skill. The way the skill works is for every alchemy formula that you learn, you increase your maximum toxicity by 1. So right now, let's just take a look at that. If we slot this for demonstrational purposes, I've got this maxed out, so that means that this affects all level 1, level 2, and level 3 alchemy formulas. For all those potions and oils and whatnot that I actually know, you know, for not for diagrams, but for torn out pages and manuscripts that I've actually acquired that are in my possession, I get an increase to my maximum toxicity. Alright, so my maximum toxicity is now at 167. And the default is 100. Basically that means that I know 67 formulas at this level 20 character. So that's one way of increasing your maximum toxicity. And if you keep doing that, you'll get to a point where you'll be able to take 2 decoctions at the same time. Because decoctions use up 80 points in your toxicity. Alright, so that's the whole point of that. We'll move this guy down here. I believe that's... How many points do we have left? We have 11 points left. Something I left out here. Let's just go ahead and slot a lot of these so that we see what's left here. Maybe I have skill points that I can't even use at this point. So, getting back to mutagens, let's pile, pardon me, I'm still getting over a cold here. Let's pile as many same color skills into one side and this side as we can. Alright, so let's put this guy here, this guy here, there, put fire stream there, air sweep there. That's all our sign skills, or all our blue skills. And we can put say a red skill here. Should have a yellow skill here. I do have one more slot. Anyways, that should be enough for demonstrational purposes. Alright, so as you can see, we've got 3 blue skills on this side and 2 blue skills on this side. This is the way mutagens work. You simply match up the colors. So you could take, like, all these mutagens are graded, like lesser, normal, and greater. Okay, so lesser is low level, normal is like medium level, and greater blue or greater mutagens are high level. Alright, and the bigger the level, the more of a bonus you get. So for blue mutagens, you get an increase in sign intensity. And sign intensity is basically how much of a bonus you get to your magic spells. So let's just go ahead and put this greater blue mutagen into this mutagen slot here, and you'll see what happens. We get 40% bonus to our sign intensity. Alright, what does that mean, Slack? Let's take it out and I'll show you what it means. Let's look at the character screen. Right now we have 156 damage, 156 fire damage, and 72% chance to burn. That's from an increase in sign intensity from just simply leveling up. Alright, see, our sign intensity is now at 58%. I think it starts out at 44% if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and it gradually increases the more you level up. Okay, so now watch what happens to the sign intensity as we put this greater blue mutagen in. Okay, it goes up to 98%. Okay, it went up from 58% to 98% because we have a 40% increase, because all these are locking into this guy. Okay, the more color coded skills that match up with that mutagen, the higher the bonus you get. So let's take the exact same thing, a greater blue mutagen, and put it in on the other side where there's only 2 color coded skills matching up. Here you see we only get a 30% sign intensity increase. Take it out, drops down to 98%. Put it back in, we get a 30% increase as opposed to a 40% increase on this side. Okay, so the more color coded skills you have matched up to the color code of the mutagen, the higher the bonus. Alright, that should be pretty self-explanatory now. Alright, so now our sign intensity is up to 128%. Look at the character screen. Pardon me. And you can see our fire damage is up to a whopping 226%, or 226 points, and our burning chance is maxed out. That means that every time a fire enchanted weapon smacks the enemy, he gets set on fire. Or if you just even use the default Igni sign without even using the alternate sign, just zap him with a fire spray, he gets set on fire. Alright, that's what 100% burning chance means. Tested and proven. Different color mutagens will give different kinds of bonuses. For example, blue mutagens will always give a bonus to sign intensity. Green mutagens always give a bonus to your vitality or your health. So let's say, and here you don't have to like use an actual like blue or green mutagen. It could be like, it just goes by the color. So let's say you have a wraith mutagen, you know, where you get from killing a wraith, okay, and you loot their body and you get a wraith mutagen. You don't have to like turn this into a, you know, you don't have to like construct a green mutagen to actually use this in this slot. As long as it's color coded green, you can just take this wraith mutagen, slap it in there, and you get a bonus. See, so now I'm getting 100 bonus to my vitality because that is slotted in there, and we have one green skill hooked up with it. Okay, if we had 2 more green skills here, we get a much bigger bonus to our vitality. Right, that's the way that works. So for example, let's take this one out and put in a red mutagen. What if I got a good red mutagen? Let's, for example, take this werewolf mutagen, put it in here. We're going to get a bonus to our combat skills. You see, attack power is now plus 10% because this red mutagen is matched up with this red muscle memory fast attack skill. If we had more combat skills slotted in on this side, this attack power bonus would be much greater. Alright, so that's how those mutagen slots work. You just simply match them up with the colors of the skills, and the more skills that you have connected, you see connected, the bigger the bonus. That's all there is to that. And you collect mutagens typically by killing higher level monsters like wraiths and foglets and all kinds of monsters. And you can also make them. You can also make mutagens if you have the right ingredients. So let's just quickly go over to alchemy here. So here I've got the recipe to make a blue mutagen. The recipe is 3 lesser blue mutagens. So just make that up and you got yourself a new blue mutagen. Now one thing you should be aware of, okay, this took me by surprise. Yeah, you should be very aware of this. If you have mutagens slotted in here, alright, and you have a recipe to create a mutagen, that recipe will use your slotted mutagens without even asking you. Alright, this took me by surprise a number of times. I go, oh, I can make a graded blue mutagen. I didn't know that I was actually using up mutagens that I had slotted here. So empty out these slots to create your other mutagens as you're making them. So make sure that you are very aware of exactly how many mutagens you have and which ones are slotted and which ones you're going to be using to create higher level mutagens, because you might be screwing yourself over. Right, just a little word of warning there. And I think that's about it. I know that's a lot of information. That about covers all the basics. There's a lot more to go over, but that's the basics of some of the more complex stuff in Witcher 3. So that's your Witcher 3 boot camp. Hope you remembered all that, because there's going to be a pop quiz tomorrow when you start playing the game. Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and if you thought this video was remotely entertaining, hey, don't forget to give the old Slackster a thumbs up. Alright, see you next video when we start the walkthrough.